Welcome back to Becoming Unbound, the podcast where we explore what it means to break free from the limitations and create a life that's fully our own. I'm your host, Carly Butler, and today we're diving into the world of music, movement, and the ultimate creative freedom with someone who truly embodies what it means to live unbound. Adrian Dobbs, better known as AD the Kid, has spent 20 years carving out a space in the music scene, evolving from an old school punk rocker to a hip hop veteran to a force behind the decks in the electronic music world. Through his all night dancing club events and performances at the legendary venues Euphoria Festival, One Loft, Rebel Complex, Nest Toronto, Forbidden City, and Coda, Adrian has built a career that's not just about playing music. It's about creating an atmosphere of pure freedom. For him, DJing isn't just a job or a craft, it's a mindset. It's about losing yourself in the music, feeling completely present, and giving people the space to let go of their worries, even if it's just for a few hours on the dance floor. Whether he's spinning tracks or producing music, Adrian has found a way to turn his passion into a vehicle for self expression, connection, and most importantly, freedom. So today we're talking about what it really means to follow your own rhythm, break free from expectations, and use music as a tool for liberation. Let's get into it. All right, welcome to the podcast.
I'm so excited to be here.
This is amazing.
Agreed.
Wow.
Yep.
And thank you for coming to my in-person studio.
Absolutely. It's beautiful.
It's a new venture in
It's
the
really
podcast.
nice. It's really nice. I feel at home here. I feel like I'm at my cottage.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's been part of the vision, and it just keeps evolving, and I'm super excited
it's
that
really
you're
pretty.
here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the nice intro.
Yeah.
An interesting take on like what a journey it's been. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like, well, let's start with our journey. How do we know each other? Why, how have we gotten to this point?
Yeah.
And what's been your experience of like us getting to know each other and all that?
So we met at Brock University.
Yeah.
In court 10. Yo, shout out 10-11 boys. Have to say what up to the boys. And yeah, I think we met like one of the first nights. Probably there was probably a bit of drinking going on, everybody out in the court introducing themselves to other students, and yeah, it was you and one of your friends, and we all met up, and we've been friends for 16 years since.
Yeah,
we're old.
We are old.
I know, it's scary, but
or time has just flown by and we're just
time flies when you're having fun.
We are having a lot of fun.
But also, like, yeah, I mean, time flies when you're encapsulated in your life.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, we've been friends forever, but it's nice to see you, like, on this journey and this venture. I think that's really cool. I know how hard it is personally to start a podcast and keep it going. So that's dope. And, yeah, I mean, we've been friends forever.
Yeah.
Like, you've come to see me DJ.
Yeah.
We've met up along the way, you know, at different times. So...
yeah, dancing, music has always been a passion of mine. And I was telling my friend that we went to go see your show at Department.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, how do you know this guy?" And I was like, "Well, I saw him DJing at Halloween with one of the boys. And that was like the first time that I was like, oh, we are friends with DJs. Amazing."
Me and our boy Jake were dressed up as LMFAO.
Yes.
Yeah. And was it me and him or me and Mikey? No, it was me and him. No, I don't know. Doesn't matter. But regardless, yeah, maybe Jake was dressed up as the guy from Inglourious Bastards.
Maybe.
Anyway, amazing. And yeah, the parties at Brock were legendary. Go Badgers. Like, yeah. I still like wear that with it's a badge of honor. Like,
totally.
People talk shit about Brock, but I'm like, yo, like, Brock was awesome.
We walked and we talked and we went to Brock.
For sure. And the Harlem Shake at Brock was like legendary. Oh, legendary.
We broke the cafeteria.
For sure. I think some people like had to pay damages to the school.
But we went viral in our early days.
Yeah. And the school was just awesome. Like, I feel like we had a lot of friends. Talk about dancing. Like, we would go out every Thursday to Kahunaville or Isaac's.
Yeah.
And like, little different back then. We were probably both twerking on tables back then, but now
But I
Now
feel
it's a
like
little different now,
that
but
Hey friends, quick little interruption because I wanted to ask, have you been thinking about starting a podcast but feel totally overwhelmed? Or maybe you already have one, but the editing, scheduling, and posting is a full-time job on its own? I get it. I was a teacher once, juggling everything and craving more freedom. Now I help people around the world launch and manage their podcasts without the stress. So, whether you're dreaming of finally hitting record or you're ready to grow your show into something that actually works for your business, I've got you. Editing, covered. Marketing, yep. Growth strategy, absolutely. It's a done for you solution that's as cozy as your favorite hoodie and as powerful as your story deserves. Head to carlybutlermedia.com to book a call with me today. Let's see if this is a fit and let's make podcasting feel easy again. Okay, now back to this magical conversation. That really was one of the first times where I was like, oh, you can go out and dance and just get lost in the moment
for sure.
with your friends. And like,
For sure.
we lived for that. And I think now, like, now that I know both of us and how much dancing and music has still impacted our lives, it really just goes to show me that like I was already tasting those bits of freedom and just completely
No doubt.
losing yourself and being present on those dance floors.
I agree completely. I think like those moments are things times I'll never forget. And that has carried over. I kind of got into dance music around that time. There was like a club in St. Catharines that would play dance music. But even before that, music was a big part of my life with hip hop, with punk music,
Yeah.
like being a performer. But there's still songs that like I hear to this day that like I'm literally back at those bars in university. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just take me right back to those moments. My friends, like you know what I mean? There's people and times that I associate to music so heavily. So definitely I would say like finding freedom in those moments, in the clubs, at the bars, at home, in the car, anything. But like then there's also the freedom of like thinking back to those moments later in life. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of a cool instance of how freedom is, you know, can time travel. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's like we've been experiencing these multiple timelines of
for sure.
freedom, and it's
Yeah.
so cool to remember back. Like, I just remember like
Agreed.
Nicki Minaj,
Oh
Starships,
hell
Kahunaville,
yeah.
and like
Oh
that
yeah.
moment, like you can just
Bottoms up, bottoms up. Like that song. Like there's so many that
there's
like
so much.
really like, you know, tie us to that time. And like that time in our lives. But it's cool that we're still, you know, for me doing music, it's still very like heavily connected to that kind of thing. And I mean, it's cool for you to be able to talk about this on your podcast, to be able to connect those times to what you're doing now. You know what, you know, like,
Yeah. So, what was the moment that you were kind of like you were DJing? Obviously, music had always been a part of it, but
sure.
what was the moment where you were like, okay, I can do this for a long time? This is where I find presence and like I see you now and I've
Damn.
always seen you behind the decks, but like was there a moment where you were like, yeah, I'm doing this forever?
Well, like it started when I was like a baby. Like I'm not joking. Like my mom has been recently like pulling up these old videos, like home videos from like my cottage or like our old houses, and like I'm always like singing at the camera. You know what I mean? So like I always found some sort of joy in performance, I think. Um in terms of like thinking I could do it for a long period of time was like when I first started, I was just a raver. Like I would go to Gov. Like that was our thing, you know, and I was obsessed with like going to the club and seeing my favorite DJs, and you know, like I fell in love with like the entire community of it, like because as opposed to what we did before with like hip hop clubs and stuff where it can be very like I don't know, it's got like this edge to it, you know what I mean? It's a little bit gangster or like going out,
Mm,
buying bottles, that kind of like vibe, as opposed to like dance music where it's like maybe it's not always like this, but there are definitely like those community moments that you find. And so when I started doing that, I was like, damn, this is different, you know? And I found freedom in that, just like being able to be myself completely, as opposed to, you know, kind of like masking parts of myself or,
mm.
you know what I mean? In terms of like, masculinity and stuff like that. Like the dance music scene is very open. Like I don't think before I was going to Gov I was wearing neon pink shirts. You know what I mean? And like that's when I was like a neon bro. And so
Yeah.
that's part of like the freedom I found there. But in terms of performance, it was probably, when I started DJing and taking it a little bit more seriously, I would record my mixes or release them. And I've always been so like in tune with music. So once I started recording my mixes and I would listen to them back and think like, damn, this is really good. You know what I mean? Like this is the way that I think music should be mixed. And like I love the way that this sounds, trying to take like an exterior look at what I was doing,
Mm.
an unbiased look at what I was doing. So once I, kind of found that, I think I looked in the mirror and I was like, this is something you could do. I still don't know where it'll go. You know what I mean? But like I felt like at that time I'm like, okay, like you're a dirty DJ. Like you can do this. You know what I mean? So that was kind of when I started thinking that there would be a future in it, I guess.
Amazing. Wow,
Yeah.
you just brought up so many good
Sorry.
points. Wow.
That's what
Oh,
I
and
do,
I
I
think
guess.
I think what I want to touch on is just like the freedom in the electronic dance music
Hmm.
culture.
Sure.
Like it was like I think I went to my first rave or whatever. I went to go
Yeah.
see the first DJ and I was
Hmm.
like everybody here is just like there's so much love. Like I can
Absolutely.
like you said you can show up wearing the
Hmm.
wildest things and
Hmm.
people are just interested in
People are like
you.
gassed up about it. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. And like, I don't know how to explain that. Um, I said this before that like, I feel bad for people that haven't gone to a rave or like something along those lines and like really enveloped themselves in it,
Yeah.
because I think that is like a true escape. And like, life can be so crazy and like it can be so much. And I know like everybody deals with their different like issues or like whatever goes on in their lives. It's so intricate and wild, and like to have a true escape, especially with like music or like a sense of community, is just like the best.
Yeah.
And
And
I
you
found that in dance music for sure, like no doubt about it. Years of my life have been like formed and molded by like these relationships and also like the moments that I've shared with people, and like that's something you can't pay for, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, and you show up to those dance floors and like it's an entire community
for sure.
that just completely accepts you for
Mm-hmm.
who you are in that
Mm-hmm.
moment, whatever you've gone through. They love to
Yeah.
see you. I don't know if it's the vibrations of electronic dance music,
Yeah.
because I have heard that dance music does carry like a certain vibration that
Sure.
just allows you to
Sure.
access this like bliss state, and
Right.
it's super incredible. And I just know that like if I've maybe had a bad week, like I can hit any dance floor, whether it's like
Mm-hmm.
a conscious dance floor, an EDM dance floor, a rave, a like
Sure.
underground party, like any
Yeah.
of those times, like I can just go let loose, close my eyes. And most of the time in these spaces, as a female, I feel very safe.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. That's a good thing. I think there's so much to be said there, but like I think music has that power in general for me.
Yeah.
Like I could be having the worst day of my life and the right song can turn it around. And I don't know if that's something to do with like the way humans are wired and like how music can affect your like mental state. Like there's got to be some sort of science on that. I don't know anything about it,
But we need
but I'm
a
not a
the
scientist.
guy who fact
But
checks this
like,
podcast is
yeah,
standing on the other side.
please, can you please check that? Because I would guarantee there's something to do with, well, I mean, from personal experience, also like things like healing frequencies,
Yeah.
like that, like life coaches or like physical coaches of mine have asked me to use, and like I've used in the sauna when like meditating, and like healing frequencies are real for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, what the science is behind that, or what the science is behind hearing the right song on a bad day or a sad song on a bad day, like, but there is power in music for sure. And I recognize that at a young age, I think, in terms of just like how much it does for me.
Yeah.
Like I think without music, life would be like shit.
So
It
bland.
would suck.
Yeah.
I'd be done. I'd be like, well, it's been fun, but like I
No,
need
music
something. Yeah,
music can turn it around. And I
for
think it's
sure.
so like I want to hear from you. I'm so curious because I love listening to music. I love curating playlists, but what
Hmm.
does it feel like to create
Oh,
that
damn.
experience for other
Yeah,
people?
yeah,
That's so
yeah. That's like
powerful.
this most special thing in my life for sure.
Yeah.
Especially like now it's kind of gotten like a little bit bigger, I've played some big shows in my life. Like I'm not the biggest DJ in the world, but I've played to a couple hundred people, you know, more than once. And like those moments can be so special. And I think it's important for me to create that moment. Like also not only being like a music purist and like a dance music purist, like caring so much about like the culture around the music and what I'm playing and how I'm playing it. I think like doing that is freeing for me. But like, yeah, of course, like the crowd reaction, the moments that are created, the feeling that you have, it's like it's kind of unexplainable. Like I think everybody chases that. That's a DJ or a performer.
Mm.
Like whether you're a rapper or a singer or in a band or you're a DJ, I think there's those moments that really define, you know, how you feel about what you do, and those are special, and like those are the reason that you do it. Whether it's creating an aura for the people that are there, whether it's escaping for yourself, whether it's feeling that power or that, you know, feeling of being an entertainer, or to me it's like almost like speaking to people. That's how I feel when I'm playing music. I feel like I'm telling them a story.
Yeah.
Maybe that like pertains to the genres that I play, you know, techno, trance, even like when I play drum and bass, I feel like it's very, there's so many routes you can go with the way that you perform and the music that you play. And I feel like for me, the most important thing is to create that kind of storyline, a build up, a crescendo, you know, like an ending. Like for me, it's about physically writing something with music.
Yeah.
So I don't know even what the question was anymore, but that's how I feel about performance, and like that's why I do it, I guess.
Well, and I think on the other end, because I've seen your sets, and you do it's creating this story for people to follow along with,
Thank
and
you.
like
Thank you.
I even remember back just like you played Department, and it was this wild experience where like I watched the whole like just your entire set, and then like you just get to the last part and you're like, what an epic
Thank you.
conclusion to a story. I was
Oh,
just
I have
able to like, yeah.
goosebumps.
But like on the other
Thank you.
side, like I've never played for anyone. I'm not like
Well, you
music.
kind of are now. Interesting
True, true,
enough. Interesting enough.
true.
Because you kind of like, maybe you're not playing, but you are to some extent. Like a podcast is a performance, or like a, you know, spoken word, right? Like at some
Right.
point this is something that you're creating.
Yes.
So you kind of get those moments too, right? You know?
Yeah, and to hear people connect with what I'm doing, the stories that I'm telling. But I think in that you are able to transport people to this place of
Mm-hmm.
presence, of listening, of being like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel heard in this song or
No
in this
doubt.
podcast or
Yeah.
in whatever it is that you're listening to. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think the way that we hear things, like, I'm just forever grateful that we can hear and take
Tell
in
me
the
about it.
world,
Yeah.
and then that it transports us to this place of like, I can completely let go.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what else really in my life gives me that.
It's a crazy sensation because like I guess the way that like music performance and stuff like this has gone is like it really is like all your senses being hit.
Yeah.
So like, you know, the visual show that you see at these crazy clubs like the one I played, or you know, with the sound quality, the feeling of people around you, the conversations, the sipping on a drink, it's like, you know, the having a vape, it's this kind of like it's everything in one. And I think that's what this audio sensory experience is, what people have really fallen in love with, because it truly is an escape. The same way laying in like a, you know, anti-gravity like water thing, you know,
Mhm.
would create that like loss of sensory experience. Well, this is kind of like attacking them. And I think that's like what's so dope about it. Like you do really, you're not at your office desk, you know what I mean,
No,
when you're
no.
at a crazy party,
Yeah.
or when you're listening to music with friends,
Yeah.
or you know, you're in a podcast studio. Like
Yeah.
you're not there. So like you do really get to escape and create this like this moment, or these memories, or this thing that's completely different than what you do on a regular basis. And I think that's what really stimulates people.
Yeah, it's that motive. Even just like listening to music in your car, just like on
Sure.
full
My
blast.
favorite.
It's
I
so
I'm
good.
telling you, like anybody that either just kind of likes drum and bass or like is getting into drum and bass, like drum and bass while you're driving on the highway is like the fucking best. Like it just completely like puts you in this, it's like you're in a video game. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah,
It's so dope.
wow.
It's my favorite driving music anyway, for sure.
Wow. No, and I think the idea that you get to transport yourself, and not that
Hmm.
I feel like the word escape can sometimes, like, we don't ever, like, it's not necessarily escaping, but it's integrating these huge
Sure.
bliss moments
Hmm.
into our life that all of a sudden, again, you can think back to it.
Yeah.
You can, like, get back to that place where you're like, okay, I'm feeling maybe a little tense. I'm feeling shackled. I'm feeling not very free right now
Right.
at my office desk. But
Hmm.
knowing that there is a place on a Friday or Saturday night that you can go and just completely let loose and be yourself. I've seen these
Yeah.
reels that are like when you go to a rave and you can, like, be your fully, like, bit of autistic self.
Yeah.
But I feel like
That's me behind the decks pretty much.
that's like,
Like every piece of like thing about me that I find different from the world is probably what makes me good at that. You know
yes.
what I mean? Like my
Yeah.
insane attention to detail
Yeah.
or my hyper focus or my overthinking or my self-criticism, like all of those things actually probably make me good at DJing
Yeah.
in my opinion. I don't know, you guys tell me what you think, but like it's those are the things that make me a superhero in that form or fashion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Internally, regardless of what, externally is happening. Like the little things that are weird about me, I feel like are what have made me a good musician. And I don't think that's uncommon. I think good musicians or good performers or people that are in that kind of artistic space probably use the things that make them weird or different to be good at that thing.
Yes, 100%. And I think that's where the freedom lies, is that all of a sudden this
Mhm.
thing, you mentioned masking in the beginning, like you kind of mask
Mhm.
yourself to fit into these things.
For sure.
But I think at a certain point, maybe it's age.
Yeah.
Maybe we've
Yeah.
experienced age, but at some point you're like, oh, wait, all the things that maybe I was like subconscious of or
Mhm.
didn't know would be accepted are all of a sudden the thing that make me so good at my
For sure,
craft.
no doubt about it. I yeah, freedom's just like it's an interesting topic in general because as an artist, I think freedom can come from, being free in the moment or these musical experiences or freedom from, being self-conscious or freedom from the crazy inertia of our own brains and these things that we think about ourselves. Like I don't think about that when I'm DJing. You know
Right.
what I mean? Those are
Oh,
gone.
wow.
I'm focused on something that's like completely and to me, honestly, self-expression in like 1,000,000% all in that moment. And so those things kind of fade away, which is great. Um Externally from the moments like at clubs or like DJing specifically, as an artist, I've found freedom in things like playing different genres, trying not to
Mm.
box myself in. Or trying different things or experiencing different things or trying to be a musician in a different way than I was before. And I think like that is tough sometimes for artists or musicians or people in the art like
Yeah.
area. It's just like I don't know, it's tough to escape yourself sometimes or like be free of your own criticisms of your own craft. And I think interestingly enough, it's kind of gone better for me after letting go of those things and being a bit more free with myself and what I want to do and how I want to do it. And I think that's a kind of message that I would put out there is like freedom isn't necessarily being free in a moment, but it's also like freeing yourself from the way you feel about yourself or like how you look at things that you've done or what you want to do and like trying to be free from that. And I think that's when like really beautiful things can happen.
Yeah, because we walk around with all these mindsets, all these
Mhm.
self criticisms
Mhm.
that all of a sudden, when you get into your craft and when you get to be creative, all of
Mhm.
a sudden you can start to let go of those things and you're like, oh, and then hopefully you can translate that into your everyday life where you're like, I just had an amazing set this weekend, or I just had an amazing
Yeah.
podcast. Like, I know that I'm okay. It's like it's like reaching into that internal validation that, like, you are enough.
Mhm.
You are free from that mindset. You are free
Mhm.
from those things that might have, those things that you're subconscious
Yeah.
of or self conscious of.
Yeah.
And it gives you that sense of being like, I can let all of that go. And hopefully you can bring that into your everyday life
I
and
think
then
it I
experience
think it
freedom all
does.
the time.
I think it does translate. I don't think I think freedom's fluid.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like possible to just, oh, I killed this DJ set, so I'm free forever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I think it's interesting because freedom is the kind of like really the beautiful, like high end, like the place you want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like in order to have those things, there's the other side of it. Like for me, like I said, escaping, like escapism is part of it. Like partying and like going to these raves and stuff, like it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You know what I
Right.
mean? There is the escapism part of it.
Yeah.
And with the subconscious and the things that we're trying to free from, like what are we freeing from? Like there's darkness to those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not all like the beautiful side of it. That's where you're attaining to get. That's where you want to get. That's what you want to do. But like the reality is there is the fear inside and the criticism and the thinking you're not good enough and all the hard things that we go through to like try and be what we want to be. So yeah, we have these moments where we're like, I achieved this.
Right.
I started a podcast. I'm killing a podcast. I tried to DJ. I've played big clubs. I've done cool shit. But like the reality is those achievements come from like fighting from a place that you are innately or that you think you are innately.
Right.
And that's kind of the duality of like being an artist and life in general. And I think when we talk about freedom, we talk about something beautiful that we're trying to attain. It's like nirvana or something, you know what I mean? And like to get there, like what do you have to do? Like it's interesting, it's hard work, it's effort, not only to escape or fight towards the freedom that you're looking for, but also, you know, put away the things that hold you back and the things that you maybe thought you were, but maybe you're not.
And it's fear. Like I love the word that you used was like there are some big moments where you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna shit my pants right
Yeah,
now.
been there, done that. Like
And
I
you
haven't shit my pants, but I was close on the decks a few times. You know
but
what I
you
mean?
feel
Like
it.
oh my god, yikes. I love it.
But
That's
I
so
feel
funny.
like it's very much you have to face those fears, and on the other side of those
Mhm.
fears is those
Sorry,
moments.
I'm still laughing about the pants shitting. Yeah,
Well, it's a whole thing that like
for sure.
if you don't feel like you're gonna shit your pants, like you're doing
Yeah.
something wrong.
No, I agree. I actually completely agree. You know, I have some really close friends that are DJs or people that are artists, and I think sometimes like I get really nervous before shows sometimes. And that's, you've known me for so
Yeah.
long. I'm not like a nervous guy.
No.
Like I walk around pretty confidently and enjoy my life and, you know, smile. But like before some shows, I've been like, oh my God, like this is terrifying. And I think you're right. I think if you don't feel like that to a certain extent, or let me phrase it this way, if you feel like that, I think it's a good thing because
Mhm.
I think you care. And I think you're worried about, you know, how you're going to create this moment, especially as a DJ. Like
Yeah.
if you care that much that you're nervous and that you're going to shit your pants, I think it's because you really want to give the people what they deserve, which is a moment. And to me, it goes deep. Like, you know, how important dance music's been to me, how important performing's been to me, how much it's done for my self-confidence, my life, my social circle, the people I care about, all the things about myself that I've worried about, the freedom it's given me in terms of like being an artist. Like that's just awesome for me to look back even now and be like, I am an artist. I've done these shows. I've done these things. I've created these songs. I've performed. It's like, to me, that's special because I can look back already and be like, you know, I have freed myself in a certain manner. And the best part is knowing that like there's still more to come
Yeah.
and it just started, you know, and like it's not,
Yeah.
there's no finality
No,
to the
it's never
freedom.
never done.
No,
Never done.
not for me anyways.
Yeah.
Like,
And I love it. You've basically said that you're stacking evidence that over and over and over again you have faced those fears.
mhm,
You have like looked inwards and been like, "Oh man, I don't want to fuck this up."
mhm,
For not only myself but for other people in the moment, and then here you are, like once you start stacking those evidence of like, okay, I
mhm,
stepped onto those decks, like I
mhm,
created that song, like I experienced freedom after that, in that moment, like
mhm.
you start, it's like you literally create this massive stack of evidence that
Yeah,
everything that you've done, every fear that you faced is something that you've accomplished and you've
yeah.
gotten over.
It's conquerable. Like you can
Yeah,
get
yeah.
over it. there's a hill to climb and you can
Yeah.
get to the top.
Yeah.
I think that's true for sure. The interesting thing that you bring up there is like having all these moments or all these things in the binder of successes or freedoms. But like, isn't it interesting that like it's not just like linear? Like you're never just gonna hit a point and be like, I'm free.
No, never.
That doesn't exist.
No.
So like the battle for freedom rages on. You know what I mean?
Forever
Like,
and
yeah,
ever.
you continue. You want to be free. I could be free for a night or a week, or it could be a year. I don't know, but like you're not free forever, no matter what you do, in my opinion. And so like fighting to get to that freedom over and over is like where the persistence and the character comes in, and like it shows who you really are, and like that can be music or a career or a relationship
Yeah.
or just whatever your passion is. Like if you want it, you have to keep getting it.
Yeah,
You know what
because
I
you could have played it safe. You could have
Yeah.
like done your thing in university,
Sure.
been like,
Sure.
yeah, that's great. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go like this whole like chasing hills and chasing freedom
Mm-hmm.
isn't for me, and I'm gonna like call it quits and just like
Mm-hmm.
go back to like kind of
Right.
the norm and stuff like that. But I know you feel the feeling of like what that does to your
Oh
soul
yeah.
and how it lights you up, and you're like, oh my god, I just crushed
Mm-hmm.
that. And then you're like, yep, in a year from now, there's gonna be another bigger hill for me to climb
Absolutely.
and freedom on the other side.
I hope so. And no, yeah, but you've known me for a long time, and I think I've always been the kind of person that will chase that
Yeah,
freedom, whatever that looks like for me at the time. Like I'm not really afraid of that, and like I don't think I ever will be. I don't think you've ever been either, and I think that's why we're
yeah,
homies. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I think, and it's funny that we phrase it that way now, but like I think that's something we recognize in each other very early in our relationship. Like we're not scared of going after something, or we're not scared of like being ourselves, or like trying to find freedom in whatever the hell we want,
yeah,
and I think that's why we've been friends so long. I think that's why we will be friends forever, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't know, I think it's important to find freedom and do whatever it takes to find that freedom,
yeah,
because if you don't, like, what are you really doing? And I've never found myself to be like a normal person, or I seriously,
yeah,
or like a person that is okay with the norm, or like not like freedom is such an interesting like term in general.
yeah,
Like it's not something we talk about daily because we're Canadian. We think it's just like when you talk freedom, it's like more like, you know, country wise or something. But like this is more like spiritual freedom or like mental freedom that I think we're talking about.
yeah. Well, it
And
can come in so many different
no
ways.
doubt.
I'd love to hear what would you say is your like you can't define freedom is what I've learned through this podcast
Mm-hmm.
in one way.
Mm-hmm.
But for you in your everyday in your
Yeah.
life, what is if you could define freedom, what would you
Damn.
define it as?
Well, just I guess now, like you asking me that and what we've been talking about, I think I could definitely find freedom and like have those moments like DJing. I would say there is moments there where I'm most definitely feeling like completely free of anything else that like is tied to me. But also dancing for sure. Like I can like specifically think of a few moments. There's like times at Electric Island or like Government where like literally the world did not exist. And even my
Mm,
friends didn't like who were around me, like it just didn't matter. Like all that mattered was the music and me and like dancing and feeling free, and that is like such a crazy feeling of freedom. So that would be one definition for me.
yeah.
Performance, dancing, and I know maybe we don't agree, but like escapism to me is freeing. To me,
Mm,
like I find like daily life and like tasks and things like that can sometimes weigh you down. It maybe not intentionally, or even whatever it is in your life, it could be anything could weigh you down. And so for me, I don't really look at escapism as like a negative thing.
mm,
I think escapism is a place for me to be free. So again, definitions maybe don't line up, but like to me, I feel like escaping, whether it's behind the decks or on a dance floor or away to the cottage or in the water or on vacation, like those are freeing moments for me. Maybe that's because we're so like tied into our crazy daily lives,
yeah.
but it can also be going down the DVP listening to drum and bass. Like
Yeah.
that can be freeing.
Yeah.
So I think you're right in terms of like no definition.
Yeah.
But like to me it's almost like those moments where everything else like melts away.
Yeah.
And that's to me freeing, because I just I have an active mind. Like
Yeah.
I'm a thinker. Like, and so when I get to let go of those feelings, those anxieties, the things that I think matter, when those things kind of wash away, I think to me that's freeing, and that is freedom for me.
Oh, I love that. When it's yes, it's in those moments where time, the people around you, it's like going
Mhm.
so internal with yourself. And yeah, there has been moments where I'm like, remember that bill that I like really was stressing about
Yeah.
before I came out tonight to this dance floor? Gone.
For sure.
Like just and all
For
those
sure.
things that like keep us stuck or heavy, like when that stuff can melt away,
Mhm.
oh, it's just your shoulders just
I
relax. Like
know.
I love that feeling. And I love that we can like it's crazy to me sometimes that we can access that. Like our brains are capable of feeling that.
No doubt. I think that's the beauty of dance music in
Yeah.
general. I'm all music again, like I'm not going to like pinpoint it down to like dance music,
Yeah.
but like to me specifically it's the one that's like spoken to me the most,
Hmm.
or like has taken me to that place the most times, like
Right.
a million times.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how many times I've lost all
Yeah.
cares in the world when I'm just dancing
Yeah.
at like at a party or rave, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it. I one of like our didn't we go to one together at Brock? Wasn't it like Avicii? Like at the in the middle of Brock in the
Avicii.
field?
Yeah. It was at O Week.
Yeah.
Why did
Steve
Brock
Angelo
why
and
did
Avicii. They had Steve Angelo and Avicii. Like,
like
come
Brock?
on.
Hi.
Pretty fire.
Yeah.
Like fire. And like, yeah, we all went together.
Yes.
It was amazing. For our first year and our
Avicii.
second
Oh
year.
my
I
gosh.
can't even.
I
I literally can't even. Like
let's
can't
not. I'm gonna
no,
cry.
I can't talk about it.
Okay.
I can't watch the podcast about it or the podcast. I can't watch the documentary about it.
Oh, I did.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Maybe
It's too
don't.
close to home, man.
Maybe don't.
It's too close to home.
But now, honestly, I listen to that music, and that's some of the music that I'm like
1 million
driving
percent.
on the highway. I'm at the gym, and I'm like, everything out of my brain, all my like worries
I
and
know.
anxieties and fears just like drop in that moment of listening to some of that music that not only I've had experiences on a dance floor, but I've also, it
Mhm.
just like speaks to me. I don't know.
That that's why I appreciate like these music producers so much.
Right.
And like I'm happy. I'm not like a big producer. I've only released a couple songs,
Hmm.
mostly DJ. Still kind of finding myself in that realm of this world.
Yeah.
But like I appreciate those people so much that pour their like blood, sweat, and tears into like creating music for us or
Yeah.
touring the world and like spending their days and hours and lives like away from family and like creating moments for us. Like those guys are G's, and like and women obviously.
Yeah.
I say guys like so loosely, those guys.
Yeah.
Us guys. But it's just like such an it's selfless
Yeah.
to put your whole life into creating music for other people. Damn, bro. Like that's some serious commitment. And like some, I mean, not every single artist in the whole world is selfless, but a lot of them are like trying to create something beautiful for people like us to escape
Yeah.
and like be free.
Yeah.
And like that's amazing. Like that's straight up amazing. And they need to be commended for that, for
Yeah.
like putting their lives and time and effort into creating sounds that allow us to be free in moments that we never knew we would have.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's wild that there
yeah,
are so many people, and I just, yeah, you just want to commend them, be like, and I think that's why like DJs have these big followings and stuff
for
because
sure.
they create these moments that people are like, I didn't know I could feel this way. And you know, you go to your first rave or you hit your first dance floor and you're like, oh wow, I didn't even imagine that my brain could compute this level of letting go and like, oh man. And then to also be connected with the communities
I was going to literally
involved.
say, no, because that's why these DJs get massive followings,
Right.
right? They get connected to a song or an album or an EP, and then they're really connected to that artist. And then they find people who are also connected to that artist. And like, that's what really creates a sense of community, right? You go to a certain artist at a festival and you see all the shirts and you're
Yeah.
like, these are my people.
Yeah.
Like they love this artist as much as me. I'm going to talk to them about this song or this show that they played that I watched on YouTube, and like, they're going to get it. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's because that type of music or that artist speaks
Yeah.
to you, has helped free you from whatever was weighing you down. And there's a bunch of people standing there that feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I kind of think that is unique to dance music. I kind of do, because like, you know, I don't know if I'm going to the hip hop show and we're all going to be like, hey, we're all free from the
Yeah.
world. It's just the way that it is like innately different than
Yeah.
dance music.
Yep.
Where dance music has like this kind of freedom to it. Not to pick on that, like I love going to metal shows and hip hop shows and punk shows.
Oh yeah.
It's just a different type of freedom, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas like dance music is so like, I don't know. It's just some magic shit. Like go check, just go.
Super
like,
magic.
yeah, I don't even know what to say. Come see me DJ, and like maybe my story will make you free in your whole life.
Yeah. No, and it's something
I'm just kidding, by the way. Probably won't.
But there's something so cool, and I love that I can like talk about this. Like I would sort of, I don't know, it's this experience that like I would even tell, like when I was a teacher, I would tell my students, they'd be like, what'd you do on the weekend? Or like we'd be going around the circle and I'd be like, Miss Beller went dancing and I had a lot of fun, and I would share that with them and they're like, you went dancing? What does that mean? And then I would play them music that was like, you know, like little kid dance music, like that has a beat. And like,
how old were these kids though?
Kindergarten.
Okay.
But I'd also share with like my grade 4 students.
Aren't there like albums of like kids music?
There is,
now?
yes. I've seen it.
I feel like our buddies, like my buddies from uni that you know, like play that for their kids.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny because my boy Trenton, who I play drum and bass with, he's a prof at the University of Tennessee now.
Wow.
And before his classes, he'll put on our sets. Or like, you know what I mean? Like he uses that to connect to the students. Yeah. So I think that's really cool. Like those students are living the same thing that we did.
Yeah.
They're going to the clubs, listening to music to escape the pressures of getting good grades or how much their books cost or how their mom's mad at them that they failed. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're doing the same thing that we were. And that's what's crazy. Music's been around since I don't know what, like forever. Since the existence of humans, like music ain't going anywhere, and it's been such an influential part in like the human experience. Yeah. And I mean, even if you think like tribally, like back in like that's escapism and freedom from whatever that day took for those like music.
From
why do people make music? Like
fact checker?
Yeah, please, could you? No, why do people make music? And like think about it, it obviously unlocks something else in your brain. An escape. No,
it's a key to something of the human experience.
For sure.
Yeah.
To me, it is. And like, this is 2025, but like, it's people have felt that forever.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I love classical music. I'll bang that.
No, there's something very innate in our human brains that allows us to experience these frequencies that like just take us to a whole other realm. And I absolutely love it. I love that we're still doing it. And I know life gets complicated, but
life's complicated. I don't think I'll ever stop with music.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, however that looks when I'm older, like I won't stop. I'll keep going in some form or fashion. I don't know how long I can keep up the crazy DJ lifestyle, but you know, I will always be involved in music, and I'm always going to love it, and it's always going to help free me from a bad day.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is that, you know, I need freeing from.
Or feel the feelings of a bad day.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, that's no doubt about that too. I have some sad songs. I have some go-to sad songs. If you don't have go-to sad songs, I think you're weird, actually.
Maybe you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I think you're doing it wrong. Life in general.
So if someone is feeling stuck, I mean, besides from like taking someone or suggesting someone to go to their first rave,
I'm probably a horrid influence.
What would you say to someone, either your younger self or someone who is feeling stuck, bogged down, weighted down by the weights of life, and they are just feeling bound up? What would be your advice to them to feel even the slightest, the baby step towards this freedom we're talking about?
I think you need to dig into the things that you think are wrong, especially with yourself. I think a lot of the things that I felt self-conscious about, or I was worried about when I was young, about my personality or the way that I thought about things or the way I acted, I think those are the things that make me good at what I do now. And I think that would be my advice to younger me or to anybody. You know, you don't have to be an artist, but in your life in general, I think you need to face the things that you look at in yourself that you maybe don't like or you think aren't likable, And I think you need to try and use them to your advantage, because at the end of the day, they probably are your advantage. And I think we're just scared of those things. And that's been the most freeing for me, is to just express myself in whatever way I think is right. And for me, that happened to be music. But I think anybody needs to dig in, figure out what those things are, because they will weigh you down if you let them. And I think the key is not letting them.
Beautiful.
Thank
That's
you.
I could like I have goosebumps because yeah, it is those things that are those quirks that make you so unique that there's, even though it feels dark, even though it might feel heavy, even though it might feel odd and it's not normal like everyone else, like there's probably absolute gold in that self-conscious feeling that you might have, that quirk that you have that's going to be the next stage for you to unlock in your unbound life.
I don't know about you, but I'll tell you guys, normal is boring. So I don't like normal. I never like normal. I don't think I ever will like normal. So if you're not normal, you're probably cool and fun.
Yeah.
You should probably go to a rave.
Yeah. Number one advice.
Yeah.
If you haven't gone to a rave, go to a
Yeah.
rave.
Go, especially if you don't think you're normal, go to a rave and you'll probably feel normal after.
If you have any form of ADHD,
Yeah. Oh,
autism,
hell yeah.
all of that,
Yeah.
go there. Anxiety,
1,000,000%.
stresses, just try
Literally.
and I think even hitting a dance floor and then just
Yeah.
just go and watch it.
Just loot.
Like just dip your toes in.
Just
See
let
how
it,
it feels.
just give it a little shimmy shake and let it go. You know?
Yeah.
I think people, I think everybody could use a little bit more of that in their lives, especially these days. Like, life's crazy, the world's crazy, and like, just try and find somewhere that's so crazy that you forget about the other shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. If people
100%.
want to find you, where can they find you? What are you up to?
Facebook.com/DJ AD the Kid, SoundCloud.com/AD_the_kid, Instagram.com/AD_the_kid. Yeah, search me on YouTube. You find some sets. There's some really cool stuff I've been doing lately, and some really cool stuff that's coming really soon. So leave it at that. If you want to find anybody who wants to find me can find me.
Awesome. Well, I'll put everything in the show notes.
Thank
and
Thank you.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see where this takes you. I feel like it's been such a beautiful journey watching you over the last 16 years.
Hey, you too.
Hey,
because this is dope. And I'm really proud of you. And I'm really happy for you. And yeah, I have a big show coming soon.
Ooh.
So you can hit me up and you can come chill backstage.
Yes.
All right.
Sweet. Yay.
That was fun. Thank you.
Wow, what an incredible conversation about creativity, freedom, and following your own rhythm. I hope today's episode inspired you to embrace what sets your soul on fire and to live a little bit more unbound. If you loved this episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a new one. And if you got something valuable from today's conversation, I'd love for you to leave a quick rating and review. It helps Becoming Unbound reach even more freedom seekers like you. And hey, let's keep the conversation going. Connect with me on Instagram, Becoming Unbound Podcast, or Carly Butler Media, and let me know what resonated with you the most. Until next time, keep breaking free and creating your own path.